Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Collector's Edge. You have myself, Brandon.
And I am Michael.
Look, Grammy. It's Manzavani. No, Michael.
So today, since we're getting close to the end of the year, we decided we would do a short series of 3 episodes showcasing our personal favorite pickups of 2025. To break down how we're going to do this, each of the 3 episodes will each show our top 5 pickups, with each episode being its own price bracket. In this episode, we'll be doing the range of 0 to 500. The second will be 501 to 1500, and the last will be 1501 and up. In each episode, after we show our top 5, we'll then attempt to name our overall favorite. In the third episode, at the end, we'll then each try to pick an overall favorite of 2025 from the winners of each bracket. The only rule for the knife to qualify for the list is that we personally have had to pick it up this year, not necessarily that the knife was released this year. Though we will try to lean towards knives that did release this year, but it isn't required. We'll also do our best to remember to mention if it was released this year or not as we go. But before we get into any of that, let's do our usual of first showing what we're carrying today. Michael, what do you got in the pocket today?
All right. So what I have, this is a TRM Atom, and this particular one has the lizard scale. Lizard skin scales, which I personally love. I think that's just one of the cooler milling patterns out there. This one happens to also have a DLC blade, which is kind of on the rare side. You just don't really see that as much with. It seems like TRM doesn't really do that often, so it's lesser seen. But yeah, that is what was in the pocket today.
Alrighty. Well, for myself for today, what I carried was, which kind of reminds me in a lot of ways actually of the TRM, is this Quiet Carry Drifter L. This guy's in titanium. I believe the specific designation for this guy is knurled stonewash satin. Knurled, of course, because of the knurling on the scale here. Stonewash due to this finish on the scales, and then satin for the finish on the blade. This guy's in Vanic, so I don't have to worry about him. It's very thin and has a great action for what it is, and in a lot of ways does remind me of your Atom there.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
All right, so getting into our lists for top 5 pickups for each of us in 2025, starting with 0 to 500. I don't know, Michael, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, no, I can go first. So my first knife, uh, under $500. This is a Cast Paladin. First time I've ever bought anything from this company. I actually saw a knife review. I think it was Neve's Knives reviewed it, and I just kind of was like, that thing's kind of cool. I looked it up, and the price was nothing to scared me off, so I decided to get one. And as you just saw, it's a front flipper. I'm a huge fan of front flippers. This is zirconium. That is too. Pocket clip, floating back spacer, all zirconium, which I'm a big fan of. And like huge zirconium fan. You guys, as you get to know me, will definitely learn that about me. Also, this knife actually checks a couple of my boxes. Like number one, front flipper. Number two, zirconium. Really a big fan of that lock right there. The I guess that would be considered inset as opposed to liner. Actually, maybe that is an actual liner. But yeah, big fan of that. Actually prefer that over frame locks, even though probably my favorite knives in my collection happen to be frame locks. But if it was my way, they would all be either liner or inset. But yeah, so anyway, big fan of this one. First time got anything from the brand, and I dig it. I really like the satin on the flats, and I guess it's kind of like a bead blast on the not the cutting edge, but the grind on the blade. Cool little two-tone effect going on there, and yeah. So anyway, that's number one for me. What about you, bud?
Beautiful. All right. So funny enough, you have the front flipper as the first on your list. Is the first one coming up on mine is going to be the CKF VIF 18.
Hmm.
Yeah, also front flipper. This guy, I believe, retails for around 470. This guy's an all titanium, has an M398 blade. You can see kind of a hand satin blade there. I love how they have the polished bevels there or swedges on the blade there. The reason I kind of like this guy is it's a smaller blade than I typically go for, especially in 2025. But it being so thin and small, it does allow me to office carry it, where I do have restrictions of 3-inch blades in the office. So this is kind of a nice, unassuming blade to carry, but still a beautiful knife. That's the first on my list.
Hell yeah, good pick, bud. So something I forgot to mention on my first one, that the one that I just showed, the Paladin, that one was actually a 2025 knife. Not only did I buy it in 2025, but it actually came out in 2025. So
Good
that
call.
one technically checks both boxes.
Yeah, I missed that too. I should say the FIFA 18 did come out or I think I pre-ordered it in 2024, but got it in 2025.
That counts. I
Yeah.
say that. I say that counts. Which and part of the reason why I bring that up is because that brings us to our next one, or my next one at least. So this guy right here. This is a company called MJM Knife and Tool. Don't couldn't tell you a damn thing about them other than I have one of their knives and I love it. Oh, actually, I can tell you also the company is based out of Bahrain, which I thought, oh, to my knowledge, the only knife company I've ever heard of from the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sure it's probably manufactured in China. I would not be surprised about that. Oh, shocker! It's a front flipper, folks.
Gasp.
Didn't see that one coming. I know, which fucking mind's being blown left and right now. Yeah, I really like this guy. It's a decent sized knife. Like I don't know if you guys can tell by, I do not have a small hand. And it's actually a pretty big ass knife. Um, Button lock. One of my very few. I really do not have many button locks at all. I love that this knife has. So obviously you got a blade hole. You know, reverse flick is like smooth as silk. Actually, to be honest with you, the action on this thing is really good. Like, if any of you guys out there have or have had any of Craig Brown's knives, it actually reminds me of that.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really good. Um, and like I mentioned, you got the blade hole, so you can either slow roll, you can reverse flick. Does have a flipper in the back, which works really nice too. Hell, you can press the button and just flip it out if you want to. But of course, I'm gonna front flip all day long. But yeah, I really like this. Oh, and it's another thing which you probably have, if you've watched any of our videos, you probably have heard mentioned. This is also a full DLC knife. Big ass fan of that too. This is number 4. I just noticed that. But yeah, and this was just under that $500 mark, which for an unknown company, I think you could say is maybe a bit too much, but I don't know. I really like it, and it made this list. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that purchase. And I will say, I just do think that the milling is actually pretty cool on those scales too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So that is number 2. Oh, and this one, if I didn't already mention it, this did. I purchased it in 2025, and it did come out in 2025.
Next up for me, number 2 on my list is kind of an oddball one, probably one you won't see on anyone else's 2025 list. Certainly wasn't made in 2025, it just came into my collection in 2025, actually through a trade, and that's the Rayot Crossroads. This guy
Ooh.
wasn't actually one I was necessarily interested in offhand, but took it in as a trade, trying to just help out a guy looking for a knife and trying to get a deal done. The design is by Kirby Lambert, if you can kind of see his emblem there. This guy's an M390 and has that typical Rayat build and quality, so makes sense why it's on this list. But one kind of unexpected, I guess, from my standpoint. I wouldn't have minded some jimping here on the spine, but can't blame him for not putting it there. Does just melt into my hand, though generally isn't something that's normally after with the blue hardware and carbon fiber, but just the size, the grind, and how it fits in the hand, it makes it to this list. So that's coming up as number 2 on my list.
All right, good number 2.
does number 2 work for?
All right, so my number three, this number three, much like your CKF, technically pre-ordered in 2024, but I did not get my hands on it because shipping from China takes forever. Very early January of 2025, so it just barely slid into the list. This is the Kunwu Padre.
Say what?
Sorry, it is the Kunwu Gringo. I actually love the hell out of the Padre. Man, it's on the brain, but this is the Gringo. Um, I really like this knife. I really like the texture on the scales. I think they did a really great job there. If you're into it, it's got the little Damascus pivot collars, which a lot of people like. And even though I'm not a fan of color on knives, I can deal with that much. I actually am okay with that. And shocker, another front flipper. Where I just can't get enough of them, folks. Um, Big ass blade. That would be considered a big ass blade. That's the official size on the website. It is it is pretty big. Interesting thing on this, the steel on it is S390. What is S390? I could not tell you. I can only assume that M390 and S 30V maybe got drunk and had a baby together. I
Maybe.
really don't know. Yeah. That is all I can tell you. But people seem to think it's great, and I'm sure if I cut with it, maybe I would too. But it just is more of a collection piece for me. But I really like this. I'm a fan of Kunwu. I think that especially their price point, I think they're really hard to beat. Shout out to old Sergio. He's a funny motherfucker. And yeah, so that would be my number three for 2025.
Yeah, beautiful. Shocker DLC.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now coming up at number 3 on my list is going to actually be an Ultratech of all things.
Oh,
This guy is the Zero Blade Play model. This is the Gen 3 Apocalyptic Standard Natural Clear version, which is kind of fits my general knife collecting habits to a T. Pretty plain Jane, so I'm all about that. These newer Ultratechs do have the ball clip, which, if you've watched any of our videos, you know both Michael and myself do enjoy. Much nicer than their old clips, such as on this Trodan, especially when it's got divots in the handle here. This is a real pocket eater, where this guy is much easier on the pockets. And unlike a lot of their older models, this guy is very easy to actuate and also does not have the proprietary hardware like some of their older models. Again, example Trodan. But so yeah, this guy overall, you can take it apart easy. It's reliable. You can adjust it as far as the blade play. I did leave a little bit in mind just for reliability reasons. I don't need it to be perfect. I have other knives for that, I guess. Again, the pocket clip's really good compared to the older Microtech, Ultratechs. The finish that it's in lands it on this list for number 3 for me.
nice. Very relevant of 2025 too. So my number four, this one was not made in 2025. In fact, I think 2023, maybe 2024. I got it in 2025 though. So this company, CMB, is the name of the company, and you guys are really gonna have to bear with me on this. I believe the pronunciation of this is Kawanagare. Kawanagare, maybe something like that. It's Japanese. The name is Japanese. The company is not Japanese. Um, Apparently, it translates to flow of river. I would wager to say the reason why they called it flow of river is because of
It all
yeah,
makes sense now.
yeah. Now you guys see it. It's all coming together, folks. Um, so okay, couple things about this. Well, first of all, I'm going to say I actually love this knife. Despite it having a couple things that I'm typically not a fan of. Number one, this is tiny. This is really tiny. Like I don't know how much this is gonna. I mean, like is really showing. And some people really like small knives. I'm just typically gravitate towards bigger knives. But this thing is just minuscule in my mind. I'm not typically a fan of inlays. Not really, not just not my thing. But despite all that, man, I just love this knife. Now, of course, I mean it does have also things I adore. Like once again, I didn't even realize while I was pulling these
Yeah.
that four of these so far have been front flippers. Like, but I guess that just goes to show like shows my taste. But and I this is not DLC. I would wager to say it's probably PVD would be my guess. Or yeah, it's probably PVD. Anyway, regardless, but it's not DLC. But it looks great, and this blade is obviously polarizing. We'll call it. I happen to love it, but I could see where a lot of people would be like, "Get that goofy shit out of my face." Um, but yeah, I'm a big fan, and that made my number four.
Does that guy have a pocket clip on it?
It does. It is
Okay.
back
Oh, I
there.
see it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wavy too. Yeah, and actually, it's actually works really well too for being so tiny too.
Well, the reason I asked about the pocket clip is next on my list, coming in at number 4, is one that we actually have a video out on of the unboxing, and that's the unnamed blade from Skiff Made Knives. This guy is a liner lock. However, it does not have a pocket clip, which kind of goes against my normal pickups. But similar to the knife you were just showing, this is a pretty small knife. And as mentioned, I too tend to gravitate to the larger knives, at least in the 2025 year. But kind of being a skiff fanboy, and this guy coming just a dollar under the 500 mark, it's more of a, happy to have it in the collection. With those jeweled liners, just beautiful. This little guy, and kind of fanboying out on this one is one of the reasons it makes it into the list, but also because it's a beautiful knife with that blue carbon fiber in there. But again, maybe not generally what I typically go for, but just love this little guy and being a skiff fanboy. So that guy makes number 4.
Man, I did not realize that was under 500. That makes me like that even more. Like that's wow. That's yeah, that's crazy. That's super fucking cool.
Oh, and I don't
Um,
believe that I mentioned it. So just to jump back, and sorry about that, Michael, but this guy, the Ultratech, was coming in at, I believe, 400 if you got it straight from Microtech. I just wanted to throw
oh,
that in there. So sorry about that.
no, it's all right. And it's kind of if you think about it, I mean, not to get too far off on a tangent, but considering the zero blade play, and when you think of other makers that do zero blade play, and as you guys know, there's not talking about a lot of people out there. Kind of crazy that the price is what it is,
It really
considering
is.
price of the other zero blade play competitor out there. Um, anyway, so that's neither here nor there. Okay, so number five, gonna give you a little quick backstory on this. I actually was hunting this knife for a long time. This knife was not made in 2025. It was made a very long time ago, but it was something I was finally able to track down, and I'm super happy to have it. I actually got in a trade, and like I said, just could not be happier to have it. This is a zero tolerance 0850, and it is specifically they made two different versions. This is the carbon fiber sprint run, which they also made one that was like blue carbon fiber. Main differences, obviously, this is not blue carbon fiber. This is regular carbon fiber. Oh, let's try it again. There we go. And the other major difference it does, this is a two tone, as you hopefully can tell in the video. The flats on this actually are DLC. I actually think it's got a really nice belt satin on it. In my opinion, when this was made, this was kind of like when ZT was doing some of their best work. This is actually a Sinkovich and Rexford collaboration, which I think is you can kind of see elements of both in there, both makers, which I think is pretty damn cool too. It's got a pretty interesting. I guess that would that be considered? It's not a frame log. Would that be considered inset?
Good question.
Yeah, I am not 100% sure. But regardless, oh, one thing kind of interesting about this one too. Most CTs are flippers. This is not a flipper, as you can see. Um, but yeah. Anyway, super happy to have it in the collection. It's not like I got in the trade, it's not like brand new in box. It wasn't used hard, I would say, but it has been used. But I'm just happy to have it because it's something I was hunting for quite a while. But yeah. So anyway, that wraps up my five. Let's hear your last one.
Yeah, beautiful ZT. A shame that you don't get to say that as often these days.
Yeah.
Great example, ZT right there. All right. Well, for my last one, this one, funny enough, is actually the cheapest on my list, coming in at $160. I picked
Woo,
this one. Yeah, right. I picked this
woo.
one up at New York Custom Knife Show, and that happens to be the Rayot PLXT. This guy is, as I mentioned, coming in at 160. I believe you might even be able to still get these. There might be one on Crane's Cutlery right now. But this guy, I had no intention of picking up again, kind of a smaller knife. But with these black, red micarta scales, as they are shown on the website, the blade, depending on where you look, is listed as Nitro V. Other places say it's black Damascus or Damascus. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but whatever it is, it looks beautiful, especially on a such a cheap knife with such a kind of cool mechanism where to unlock it is you push on the pivot of the blade. It does have a locking mechanism here as well, which I don't really care for, but it only engages when the knife is open. So I guess it's there if you need it or you want to use it. So not necessarily something again I gravitate for, but for the price and just happened to catch my eye at the New York Custom Knife Show, I had to pick her up. So beautiful addition to the collection.
I love that little knife. I really do.
Right,
I
hard to
was there
beat.
with him when he got it, and the blade to me is sells it completely. Yeah, I don't
Absolutely.
actually really like that.
Yeah, it was the last one on the table, so I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah. All
Well,
right. So you're five.
why don't we get them laid out on the table?
Oh,
Both of our fives, why don't we?
that's
All
actually
right.
a pretty great idea there, sir.
And what we'll do, as mentioned, is we're going to decide which of these five is our top pick for the 0 to 500 out of our pickups of 2025. So here I got mine laid out. How about you? You ready? Oh,
Yeah, look at that. They fit. All
beautiful.
right.
All right. All right. So, what we're thinking is since this is obviously going to be a tough call for both of us, considering these are our top five in the 0 to 500 range, what we'll do is go back and forth, stripping one knife at a time until we find the ultimate winner between each of us. So, with that said, for myself, again, this is tough, but I think the first one I'm going to take off the table is the Crossroads Rayat. Mostly because, again, that wasn't necessarily one I was hunting after, but it just happened to come into the collection through trade. But I still love that knife.
I think I'll take off the MJM knife and tool,
Ooh.
which yeah, I mean, I it feels crazy because I genuinely love that knife. But all right, so I'm down to one. Your turn.
All right. Okay. Shoot. So, what I'm going to end up taking off the table is surprisingly to myself, even, I'm going to take off the FIF 18. Mostly, it is it's obviously a little plain, but maybe that's why she's coming off. But I do love this knife, but that
Yeah,
that that one hurts. All right,
that's,
over to you.
I I and I'm actually a little surprised I'm about to do this, but I actually think I'm gonna take off the
Oh
Kunlun.
no way!
Yeah, I know, right? I know it's kind of shocking, right? Yeah, I can barely. Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
This is yeah, this
that's
is
it. Yeah.
some Sophie's Choice bullshit right here. But yeah, okay. What about you?
Oh man, now this is where it gets difficult. All right, shoot. You know, I think I'm going to. Even as cheap as this guy is, I think I'm going to take off the Ultratech. Maybe just because I don't generally carry OTFs a whole lot, but when I do, this is definitely one of them. But that hurts. I'm doing it.
All right, I guess I'm gonna take off the Kanagare or Kawagare. and that probably is even wrong. But maybe maybe the penalty for not even knowing how to pronounce it is me having to take it out. But I,
Yeah.
yeah, I adore that little thing. But all right,
Ooh, that's where he gets. Oh man. Okay.
yeah,
So we got the no name skiff on one side, and we got the rat P.L.X.T. I love this guy again for the price, the beauty of it, the interesting way of unlocking it, and I am sucker for non-standard ways of deploying and unlocking knives. But I think, being the fanboy that I am, I think I'm gonna break it down to which one would I most regret not having in the collection, and that is
good way
gonna
of putting
be
it.
my winner as far as my top five 2025. 0 to 500 is going to be the no names gift.
All right.
All right. I
So
think I'm happy about that.
yeah, I so let me ask you this: if the no name skiff, if it wasn't skiff, if it was just another like if it was just another brand, like do you think it still would have won?
Honestly, probably not. I mean, it is nice, but again, no pocket clip. Maybe generally not what I would go after. So you know what? I think that says it there. It probably would not have made the list if it was
Gotcha.
not a skiff. But I guess showing my skiff fanboyness.
I mean, I mean, I think I actually, if those had been my knives, I think I actually would have done the exact same order and pretty much the exact same reasoning. I mean, like, and it's not just 100% fanboy. I mean, the other thing is too is just the sheer skiff quality. If it was done by
Right.
somebody else, that it probably would not be replicated. But yeah, if that that knife had been made by Joe Schmo, I probably would have gone to the Riot. If it had been, yeah, because that Riot's just
Yeah.
hard to beat, that little fucker. All right,
Yeah.
so let's see. Me and Brandon talk knives all the time, guys. So I want to see, Brandon, which one am I gonna pick for number one? See how well you know me.
Uh, I'm gonna say it's. Oh man, it's. I'm gonna say it's not. It's not the ZT.
Oh, it is the
It is
ZT.
the
Yeah,
ZT.
it is. Yeah, the ZT wins. And honestly, I think it's only because I hunted it for a long time. It's ironic that as much as I like talking about front flippers, the only non-front flipper is the one that won.
That's kind of why I picked the other. It was a front
Yeah, I
flipper,
mean, I
zirconium.
understand why. Yeah, and I mean, like we're dealing with zirconium. I love
Exactly.
that floating backspace. Like,
I knew you did.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that. I mean, I can definitely understand why you would have thought that, but yeah, it really just comes down to like, and I'm sure some of you guys listening to this can understand this. Like, the longer you hunted for something, just the in terms of just the sheer way it makes you feel when you finally get it, yeah, it just ends up
Yeah.
just kind of gets you a little more. So, but yeah, so okay. Well, we have our winners for the 0 to 500 category. Um we would like for you guys to A, like and subscribe, and B, we would like for you guys to let us know like which one do you like better between his and mine? Which ones do you think we were idiots for not choosing? Give us all your thoughts. We want to hear all of them.
Yeah. What are your top five for 2025 to the 0 to 500? Let's hear
Yeah,
that
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Do that. Do that shit. Do that. Yeah, yeah. We like that. Yeah. One more thing right before we close it out. So I kind of told you that like if your knives had been mine, we would have picked the same. What about vice versa? Which what would have you picked out of mine?
Well, honestly, I think I probably would have picked that ZT in the end. I haven't
Okay.
had one, but I did search for one, and kind of the reason I didn't grab one is because the only ones I could find were in that blue,
Yeah.
and that really doesn't do for me. As we've talked, I think we're both not really a whole lot into color, and would have gone for this particular version as well. Beautiful knife.
Gotcha. Well, cool. Well, all right, guys. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, comment, all that junk, and we will have the next one coming soon.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Take care. Bye, guys.